Logos Bible software has 6 search engines. Therefore, over the next 6 videos, we're going to look at each one of those. To begin, let's go to the main menu at the top, locate the magnifying glass, and click it. Now you can see the 6 search engines labeled here. We have Bible, Basic, Media, Clause, Morph, and Syntax. Let's begin with Bible. Therefore, click Bible. Now, one of the things I want to point out right away is you notice this yellow bar. Some search results may be missing or incorrect while your library is being updated. This typically appears when Logos is downloading and indexing your computer. In fact, if we click on the one at the top right, you can see that I'm 74% complete. Once that's done, this yellow bar will go away. So be aware that sometimes you have to wait to run some searches. So while we're waiting for the indexing to complete, let's overview a few of the search helps that Logos gives us. First, at the top left is the hamburger menu, those 3 horizontal lines. Go ahead and click it. Now in this case, Logos has provided for us some search templates. Now I'm going to float my mouse between the search templates and the search window to make it a little bit wider. As you can see, there's quite a few helps here for the Bible search. There's basic, people, places, and things, speakers, and addressees, New Testament use of the Old Testament, and original language. These templates are designed to help you do complex searches, but a whole lot easier. Now over at the right, there is some additional search helps here. There's help on searching in the help manual. If we click that, the Logos help manual will open up. There's also the search templates, which we have here at the left, and then there's the Bible browser. And we'll spend more time on this tool, but the Bible browser gives you access to all the special hidden search terms that can help you find information more precisely in Logos. Let's go ahead and click the X to close this down. Let's go ahead and close the Logos help window. Now let's click and expand the basic and take a look at some of these templates and how they work. So let's choose this one, 3 in this order. So I'm going to click the template and a little information box appears and we type in the 3 words. So I'm going to put in holy, holy, holy. That's it. It really is that easy. Notice that Logos tells you what the instruction would be. Holy before holy before holy. So this is not only 3 words, but as the special search says, 3 in this order. Let's go ahead and click search. Logos will populate that search phrase and you can see the search results there. Now I'm going to expand the search window so we can see more here. And notice that the words don't have to be one immediately after the other, like Isaiah 6:3. Although Isaiah 6:3 has each word following one another with no intervening words, you can see by the search results the rest have multiple intervening words. Nevertheless, this makes it real easy for you to perform complex searches without being an expert in what they call Boolean search operators. Let's do a couple more just to see what else we can do. Let's go to people, places, and things. Let's choose this last one, a person, a place, and a biblical thing. Let's click it. Let's go ahead and choose David. And notice when you type in David, a drop-down menu appears to show you what your search criteria options could be. It's very important you notice these and recognize these icons. A person clearly represents a person. If you see more than one person, that typically is a group of people. And under people, that's all you're pretty much going to see. There's other icons, and we'll explore those later. So let's click on David. Next, let's choose place, and they're suggesting Jerusalem, so let's go ahead and do that. So we put in Jerusalem, and notice the city icon or the place icon. Let's choose Jerusalem City. Let's go ahead and put in fortress. Notice the thing icon looks like a little box. We'll click that. Down below, we can see the specific search criteria, person, David in brackets, place, Jerusalem, and thing, fortress. We'll go ahead and click search. And now we have all the passages where all 3 of these items appear in a single passage. So as you can see, these search templates are a wonderful way to learn how to do more complex searches. And the more complex your search is, the more precise many times it can be. Let's go ahead and look at New Testament use of the Old Testament. Let's go ahead and click on Old Testament passage used by a New Testament author. All right, for Old Testament passage, let's put in Psalm 110. Notice the icon for the verse reference. We'll click that. And then if we click the relationship kind of usage, you can see that there's different ways that the New Testament references the Old Testament. Citation will be a clear cross-reference. A quote can be a whole verse or a portion of the verse. An echo is a resemblance. It may not be word for word, but it's pretty clear that it seems that's the verse it's referencing. An allusion is a much more general cross-reference. So let's go with citation. Notice below we have the exact search phrase. Now let's click search. In a few moments, our search results will appear to see if the New Testament is quoting Psalm 110. Now remember, this search only gave us citations. If we wanted to see the other searches, we would have to run 3 separate searches, or you can remove some of the information in the search. So if we get rid of relationship, squiggly line, quote, citation, and we simply run the search as follows, we can search on all 4 of those different relationships. So that's a pretty handy feature. Let's click and expand original language. Now, if you're not familiar with Greek and Hebrew, this could be a little challenging, and we'll show you other ways to search on Greek and Hebrew. Let's go ahead and choose Greek root word. I'm going to type in AGAPAW. Now notice I typed in English letters and phonetically spelled the Greek word agapao for love. So remember, you can do that. We'll go ahead and click the square root icon for root word, and let's click on search and see what we get for search results. And sure enough, we have found all the root words where agapao is the root word. These search templates are a great way to learn all the searching capabilities in Logos Bible software. Now I'm going to click the hamburger menu to close this search template menu. Now the next thing I want to point out with the search engine is over here at the right. These are the 4 search views to view your search results. Currently, we're in the grid view. Now the grid view is really not that helpful when you're searching one Bible, but if you're searching multiple Bibles, this is real handy. So let's click on the New King James or whatever verse you have selected, and I'm going to choose Top Bibles from the menu. Now notice that Logos switched me to the verse view. And in the verse view, we have the clear cross-reference at the left and the full text at the right, and there's all the search results. Personally, this is my favorite view, and it's the easiest way to review your search results. But as I was showing earlier, let's go back to the grid view. The grid view is really designed for searching multiple Bibles. Over at the left, we have the Bible verse. Then we have each individual Bible translation as a separate column. And then we have the English translation. Now, very important, the English translation that you see at the right is linked to whatever Bible is selected, and that's the one here that's highlighted in blue. So if we click, let's say ESV, ESV becomes highlighted, and the text at the right is the ESV. So remember which translation is highlighted. Now, as you can see, if we scroll down, there's a couple places where the boxes are empty. Why is that? That means this particular root word does not appear in this translation. So there's some differences there to be concerned about. If you see a do not symbol, that means the passage doesn't exist at all. So use the grid view to look at multiple Bible translations. Let's go back to the verses view, and as you can see, it's one single translation. However, be aware that you have this option, Add Versions. So if you have a secondary Bible translation that you'd like to view alongside the original one, click Add Versions, and then type in the Bible translation. I'm going to type in NASB 95, and I recommend pressing Enter once, then press it twice, and that'll add the Bible translation to the right. And now you can conveniently look at 2 translations. If you click the X, it'll clear it out. Let's click the Add Versions one more time, and this time, let's put in the NA28 Greek Bible. So there's the NA28. I'll click it, then I'll click back in the box, press Enter once. Notice there is a white arrow and a circle at the right. We could click that as well to add the translation. Now we can see an English and a Greek translation, and notice the word we're searching is highlighted in yellow, making it so much easier to identify the word. Let's next go to the aligned option. Now the aligned option shows you one translation, and it takes the word that you're searching for and centers it for you and highlights it for you. Now, the purpose of this view is so that you can quickly look at the search results and see how the translations are changing. When I'm searching on a root word love, I expect to see the word love, but on occasion I'm seeing some other words like beloved stood out. As we scroll down, we can see some other ones like dear. Now, if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you may be wondering what happened to our second translation. Turns out Logos has put it after the English translation. So if you do have 2 Bibles, you will get search results for both translations. Now let's go over to the right and click Analysis. Now, analysis can take a few moments to run because it's gathering a lot of information. And the purpose of the analysis window is to really look at the underlying original language and get access to more information regarding that original language. As you can see, there's multiple columns of information. We have the resource, the reference, the form, the previous and next context. If we use the horizontal scroll bar at the right, we can see the Strong's number, the result, the lemma, the root word, Lohnida's number. If we keep scrolling to the right, part of speech, the case, the gender, the mood, so all the morphological information, number, person, voice, and tense. And if we right-click on any of the columns, we can get access to more columns of information, like sense and so forth. So be aware that the analysis window is very powerful. In addition to displaying all the information, you can also organize it in a particular way. So let's say you want to focus on mood. For the PC, you can just left-click and drag that column title right up here and release. You'll start to see these little triangles, and what you want to do is right-click on the first triangle and click on Collapse All. Now you can see from the search results all the available moods. This is real handy because right away you can see what's the most predominant mood for this root word agapao. In this case, it's indicative. There's a few infinitives, but not as many as indicatives. Now, if you're on a Mac, what you want to do is hold down the Option button and click on the column and drag that up to the top. You can also drag more than one column title. So if we want to focus on mood and let's say voice, we'll drag voice up there. You can see they both go together. Notice now we have a hierarchy. That is 2 levels of information. I'm going to right-click on the first triangle and as before, choose Collapse All. Now let's focus in on the imperatives. I'll click and expand the imperative, and it turns out there's only really one mood, the active mood. If we click and expand the indicative, we have active and passive. If we click on the participle, there's active and passive, subjunctive only active, and infinitive, we have active. As you can see, we can build up our criteria to organize the search analysis window to show us exactly the information we want. Now, some other features that are pretty handy with the Bible search engine is over at the right, we have the keyboard selector. If you click that, notice we can choose Greek and Hebrew and then type those specific Greek words in there as well. Another wonderful feature at the right here is the star icon, which allows you to save this search to your favorites in order to reuse it at a later time. This will place the search at the end of the favorites. Let me demonstrate. I'm going to click Favorites. You can see that Logos has opened up the favorite window, and if I scroll down all the way to the bottom, there is our root word search. So it gets placed at the bottom. You then can left-click and drag and drop wherever you please. We'll cover this tool in more detail in a future video. Go ahead and click on X to close this window. Let's return to the Verses view. Let's take a look at the search criteria right here. We have Search, All Bible Text. Let's go ahead and click that. With All Bible Text, you actually have the ability to search on other things, including search fields, as well as many of your highlights. So if you've been highlighting some of your words, you can search within the highlights. Now notice with this particular text, there's disputed passages, gloss text, later textual addition, an Old Testament quotation, surface text, and words of Christ. This is in my top Bibles. Let's go ahead and type faith. Now, if we look at our search results, right now we have 2 Greek Bibles. Let's correct that. So let's click on Top Bibles, and let's type in our preferred translation. This time I'm going to type in NASB 95, and then locate under All Bibles, NASB 95. Let's click Verses to see the search results. Now what we're doing is we're searching all Bible text, all passages in the New American Standard, and there they are, the word faith. Notice Logos gives us statistics, 381 results in 358 verses. Now let's begin to change some of the search criteria. So I'm going to click All Bible Text, and look at the search fields that are available to me, surface text and words of Christ. I'm going to check words of Christ. Now, even though the text is not red, if we were to click on the first search result, Matthew 6:30, we can see the text is now red. Let's go ahead and click on the X in the Bible. So the search fields are really the first option you can search. You can also search your highlights. So if we had highlighted and marked up, let's say, the word faith in one of our highlights, this could find it for us. Let's go ahead and uncheck words of Christ. The next criteria is all passages. This is pretty powerful because you can choose what range of verses you want to search. So if I want to search just the word on faith in the Psalms, I can simply type in Psalms at the top and then choose Save from the option below. and then it's going to ask for the reference name. Now, I recommend always keeping the verse range and the reference name range the same. So go ahead and click the white arrow in the circle at the right. Notice it now says Psalms. Just click Psalms again to close the menu. And now we're looking for the word faith in all the verses in Psalms. Now, if you look at the search results at the right, there's nothing in the NA28. And because this is a New Testament resource, we get no verses back. Now, if you look closely at the search results, we're getting faithful, faithfulness, all these different varieties. So how is this possible? If we go to the top right and click on the three vertical dots, the stoplight menu, we're going to see that we have some additional search options. The two that are checked is match all word forms and match equivalent references. Let's uncheck match all word forms. Notice now the only search result is the exact word faith. Let's go back to the stoplight menu and click it. And let's put in match case. In this example, faith matches faith. But if we change that to a capital F, we'll get no search results. So if capitalization is important for your search criteria, make sure you use those specialized search options. Let's once again click the stoplight menu. Make sure, though, after you run that search, to put it back the way it was before. Otherwise, you may not get the search results you expect. Now, when you're running searches, let's change our search range back to all verses in the Bible. So let's click on Psalms, and let's choose all passages from the menu below. Now, one of the wonderful features in Logos 9 is the improvement in the charts feature. You can see the chart box right here. Let's go ahead and click on that. Now, Logos will generate a chart for you. You can see here that this particular chart, we can choose the Bible and the count per book. If we click on count per book, we can see the other search options. Let's choose count per chapter. Now, this is a lot more information. Clearly, the most frequently used book on faith is Hebrews chapter 11. That's pretty powerful. Let's click on count per chapter, and let's choose frequency per 1,000 words in a book. Now, what this is getting at is taking into account the word you're searching for based on the words in that book. This is helping you understand what proportion this word appears to the rest of the words in that book. And this does change the results quite a bit. So we can see that 1 Timothy actually talks about faith more than any other book based on word count. If we click on 1,000 words in a book and choose frequency per 1,000 words in chapter, now we can see which chapter proportionally talks the most about faith. And as suspected, Hebrews chapter 11 wins out. So those four search options are very important that you understand the distinction between each one and what it will reveal to you. Let's go ahead and click on count per book. Now, in the previous video, we looked at these charts much more in depth, so we're not going to spend time to go in depth here again. But one other feature I should remind you of is the Send To button. If you click it, you can send this image to the clipboard, save it as an image, print export, and actually put into an untitled sermon. Let's go ahead and choose Untitled Sermon. The Untitled Sermon document is opened up, and our graph has actually been placed into a slide. So this is a great time saver and will allow you to more quickly move from search results to a PowerPoint presentation. Let's go ahead and click on the X to close this tab. And let's click on the X to close the chart window. Now, at the top right, we have the navigation window. And what this is navigating is actually your search history. If we click the triangle, we can see the various searches that we have recently run. So this makes it easy for you to go back to a previous search and rerun that search. If you click the left arrow, it'll cycle through those previous searches. So this is a manual way to navigate through the list that you can get through here. Let's go to the top right and click on the stoplight menu. Now, there's additional options in the menu you should be aware of. First, you can export it. You can send it to an inline search, save as a passage list, save as a visual filter. This can be pretty handy if you want a visual filter based on the search results. Save as word list, show reading view. You can duplicate this panel, float this panel, and you know the rest of the options below. So this can be a wonderful way essentially to export the data out of the search results into another Logos document that you want to interact with. Let's go ahead and close this menu by clicking on the stoplight menu. Now, one other tip that I think is pretty handy. Let's go ahead and just type in the word love. And what I recommend you do is set up your Bible search to your preferences. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the X, and all I want is the New American Standard Bible search results. I've clicked on verse view. I like the verse view. And now I'm going to erase my search criteria, and I'm going to left click and drag my shortcut to the toolbar. You can see the vertical line there. When you do, release it. If you don't see a vertical line, just go ahead and release in this gray area. And you'll see now that I have a search magnifying glass. Now, if I close this tab and then click on that shortcut and type in love, Logos remembers all the settings, the particular Bible, the particular view, etc. So this now makes it easy to do a one-click search for Bible concordance searching. Well, that wraps up this first video of the first search engine, the Bible search engine.